Honey, I'm going to go do that dvar Torah thing for the reunion now, alright?
Okay, remember, these are your friends. You don't need to get nervous. Say something relevant. Oh, and honey, can you please take out the garbage? It's been there forever.
Alright, it's already on my to-do list. I'm going now.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, so you'll film me now in the shul. We'll go film the shul.
I can never turn this camera on.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll manage.
Never film this thing. It's always my wife. So, you know what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to give something over special for the reunion.
Well, you can talk about your book?
Listen, you know, it's not a book promo, it's just a dvar Torah.
Jacob's Family Dynamics is perfect for reunions.
Maybe I'll talk something about Yaakov.
Guy, what are those buildings over there?
Those are the twin shuls we have here in Alon Shvut. We have a Sfaradi and an Ashkenazi, just like we had in high school. The Sephardic Bet Midrash and the Ashkenazi Bet Midrash. We're going to go now to the Sfaradi Bet Midrash.
Beautiful.
And now, coming to you live from Alon Shvut Israel, in honor of the celebration of the 25th reunion of the senior class, Yeshiva of Flatbush, 1986. Ellie, the camera, the other one.
Sorry.
Hi, all. Thanks for coming. So where are we going to find somewhere in the Torah that has a 25th year reunion of a high school class? Doesn't seem to be very many candidates. But you know what? There are actually 4 reunions that go on in Sefer Bereshit between family members after more than 20 years separation between them. We have Yaakov returning home first to Esav and then to Yitzchak. And then we also have later in Sefer Bereshit the reunion of Yosef and his brothers, and Yosef with Yaakov. Let's focus in on Yaakov's reunion with Esav and try to get an understanding of what Yaakov went through during his travails from the time he left home. So we begin by remembering that Yaakov left home at the behest of his mom, not to get killed by his brother Esav, and by the request of both his parents to go get a wife from the olden country. And when he leaves, he has the dream with the ladder, Sulam Yaakov, and there Yaakov sets out his neder, his vision, his path of what it is that he would like for God to do for him while he's away from home. So let's take a look inside. Oh, I forget, you don't have books. But okay, I'll read it to you. You'll take my word for it. So Yaakov, he makes the neder. Vayida Yaakov neder lemor. And Yaakov made a vow saying, Im yeh Elohim imadi, if God will be with me, Ushmarani baderech hatzeh asher anochi holech, and He'll protect me on the road of which I am now embarking. V'natan li lechem le'echol u'beged l'bosh, and He'll give me bread to eat and clothes to wear. V'shavti b'shalom el bet avi, and I will return home in peace to my father's home. V'haya Adonai li l'Elohim, and God will be for me as the Lord. V'ha'eben hazot shastamti matzeva yeh bet Elohim. V'chol asher titen li aser aserenu lach. And this stone that I've set forth will become the house of God, and everything you give me I will tithe in your favor. So we have here Yaakov's vision of how his life is going to go. It's going to be very smooth. We have God's protection, we have economic prosperity, we have the food, we have the clothing, we have spiritual guidance. God is going to constantly be with him. He's going to return home in peace. And this vision of life for Yaakov, for some reason, doesn't play itself out. Yaakov encounters Lavan. Lavan switches Rachel with Leah. And then later, Yaakov has to endure another 20 years worth of working with Lavan. And Lavan tricks him further with his wages. And then he has 4 wives and 12, 13 children later. And over 20 years pass by, and finally, he's able to return home. And what is it that keeps Yaakov on his path? His dedication to his core Jewish values, his dedication to the Bet Elohim, to the idea that he is going to come back home one day. And we all also left high school. We had a vision of how our lives was going to be, and we all hoped it was going to be smooth sailing. But I gather to say that perhaps it wasn't just exactly as planned for many people. And we have a bunch of people that managed to make their way here to Eretz Israel. And in alphabetical order, we have David Abrahams now in Ra'anana, Alana Bahar Kutcher living in Shoham, Gad Dishi living in Alon Shvut, David Fine living in Modi'in, Stephen Harari in Bat Yam, Jonathan Inker in Yad Binyamin, Ronit Lenyado Rachamim in Rosh Ha'ayin, Hillel Levetsky in Yerushalayim, Aviram Perov in Givatayim, Tzvi Ran in Neve Daniel, David Schechter in Moshav Bet Meir, and Stephen Zeich in Chashmonaim. Let's hear it for the people on Aliyah, everybody, all right! Well, those core Jewish values have led these people on their path, and we wish them well and success in continuing on in their commitment to the Jewish people and the land of Israel, the state of Israel, and we encourage all of you to come join us here, whether for a visit or for an extended stay. Let's move back into our analysis of what the Tanakh gives us for reunions. We have Yaakov and Esav. After those 20 years of separation, there's the imminent reunion between them in Parashat Vayishlach. And Yaakov perhaps has this initial reaction of, I need to show him how well I've done since I left. And so Yaakov sends ostentatious gifts to Esav, not necessarily only for showing off, but also to appease him. Because for Yaakov, the reunion with Esav is more than just saying hello after a long amount of time. Yaakov carries with him the fear that Esav will kill him, because over 20 years earlier, Yaakov stole his blessings and stole his identity before his father Yitzchak, and took the blessings that were supposed to be for Esav. Well, in addition to this idea of sending the gifts and showing off some wealth, Yaakov also presents his family, another major item on his list of accomplishments that he can show that he's had in his lifetime. But with all of that pride and joy that he has with his family and his wealth, Yaakov has this tremendous fear. Vayira Yaakov me'od vayetzelo. He was in tremendous fear and it pained him. And when we get to the exact verses that talk about the physical meeting between Yaakov and Esav, and again I read to you from the Psukim, it says, Vehu avar lifnehem, vayishtachu arza sheva pe'amim ad gishto ad achiv. Yaakov went ahead of his family, and he bowed down 7 times until he reached his brother. So Yaakov is walking and bowing. But what's Esav doing? Vayarotz Esav likrato vaychabekehu, vayipol al savarav, vayishakehu, vayivku. And Esav runs towards Yaakov. It's like the scene of American in Paris. This is it. This is the long-lost love. He's finally getting back to meet his brother. It's a tremendous emotional reunion. And Esav comes and hugs him. And he falls on him and he kisses him. And they cry together. But what an awkward, non-reciprocal type of a meeting. You have one person running with arms open to give him a hug and a kiss after all these years, his long-lost brother. And on the other side, you have Yaakov being very stiff and formal, bowing down 7 times before he reaches Esav. What is it that we can learn from this interaction? I think one of the ideas that's trying to be conveyed is that Yaakov, his entire fear and his entire being taken up with this emotional turmoil that he had from over 20 years that he carried with him was something that only Yaakov carried with him. It was all in Yaakov's mind. Yaakov felt that this was the preeminent issue that he had to work through. And he only had now opportunity after all these years. On the other hand, Esav seems to have managed to move on. And while textually there's what to debate, it seems that Esav has already moved on in life. He's lived and forgotten about what happened over 20 years ago, and he wants to be reunited with his brothers. And I think we have opportunities now at reunion time for people, if they're carrying any of their emotional baggage from their younger years, have opportunity to see the people who made it all happen and see if they can work things out and realize that most people aren't really thinking about it. It's maybe just only in your head. So remember now, you're together with your friends. There's no need to be nervous, and make sure to take out the garbage, because it looks like it's been there forever. And remember, vote for experience. Vote 1, 2, 3. Write in GAD, Gad Dishi for treasurer. Remember, in Gad we trust.